Open your eyes. Open your eyes.
My eyes are open,
Open
Dave.
your eyes.
And if you don't like it, get the f*** out. Really?
Yeah.
Ready? Really?
That's it. That's it.
Is that the way it works?
When Storage Wars started on TV in 2010, people quickly became interested in the exciting world of abandoned storage unit auctions. And among all the interesting characters bidding on lost treasures, one man was different because of his tough approach, his famous catchphrase, and his habit of upsetting those around him. How did Dave Hester become reality TV's most hated auction villain? What dark controversies behind Storage Wars did viewers never see coming? Join us as we examine the warnings everyone gave about Dave Hester and discover the shocking truth behind one of reality TV's most controversial figures. The military brat who learned to fight for everything. Dave Hester was born on July 23, 1964, at Camp Pendleton Marine Corps Base in Oceanside, California, as the son of a career military man. His father, a Marine Corps veteran of German and Irish descent, had served in Vietnam and returned home to a modest military salary that struggled to support 5 children. To supplement the family income, Hester's parents developed a side business, buying and selling tools, antiques, and collectibles at auctions and estate sales throughout the early 70s. Young Dave accompanied his father on these weekend ventures from age 5, learning to spot value in overlooked items. By the time his father retired in 1979, the family had been buying and selling for a decade, and 14-year-old Dave had already started his own operation, purchasing machinery and tools at auctions and reselling them to shops near the military bases. This childhood shaped Hester's cutthroat personality and his do-or-die attitude toward business. Growing up in a large family on limited resources taught him that opportunities were scarce, and hesitation meant losing out. His parents drilled into him the lesson that survival meant being tougher and smarter than everyone else. These early experiences created the foundation for the combative businessman who would later dominate Storage Wars. While Hester was building his reputation in the California auction scene, the stage was being set for a television phenomenon that would change his life forever: the rise of the mogul and his infamous catchphrase. By the time he reached his 40s, Dave Hester had established himself as a formidable presence in Southern California's storage unit scene. He became a licensed auctioneer in 1992 and spent years working as a bid catcher for local auction houses, where he developed his signature loud "yup" call to help auctioneers spot bidders in crowded facilities. This distinctive shout, which would later become trademarked and even spark legal disputes, originated from a practical professional necessity. In 2005, a DUI conviction led to 30 days of community service at a local Goodwill store, where he observed how second-hand items could be processed and resold for profit. This experience transformed his business approach, and he established 2 stores in Costa Mesa: Newport Consignment Gallery and Rags to Riches Thrift Store, operating from a 10,000-square-foot showroom with 15 employees. In 2010, when A&E started looking for people to be on Storage Wars, Hester was a great choice because he had 25 years of experience and a big personality. The network wanted interesting characters who could create drama, and Hester did just that from his first episode. He happily took on the role of the bad guy, raising bids on purpose to annoy his competitors. Viewers quickly liked his confrontational style, and his fellow cast members, like Daryl Sheets, Barry Weiss, and Brandy Passante, often found themselves struggling against his strategies. But as Hester's television fame grew, so did tensions between him and the production team, who controlled what audiences saw on their screens. The lawsuit that exposed reality TV's ugly secrets. In December 2012, after 3 seasons as one of Storage Wars' main attractions, Dave Hester shocked the entertainment industry by filing a $750,000 lawsuit against A&E television networks and original productions. His legal complaint made explosive allegations that went far beyond typical contractual disputes, claiming that nearly every aspect of the series is faked, and accusing producers of rigging the show to manipulate outcomes and deceive viewers. The lawsuit was one of the most detailed insider exposés of reality television production practice ever filed by a cast member. Hester claimed in court documents that the show's producers often put valuable items in storage units before filming the auctions. Sometimes, they even created entire units with help from the storage owners. He said that items like the Elvis Presley newspapers he found were actually put there by the producers, who had already arranged for their value to be assessed weeks earlier. The lawsuit also said that producers told participants which lockers to bid on and how much to offer, and they even helped weaker cast members buy items to create more drama and surprises during the show. Hester said in his complaint that he talked to network executives and producers about these practices, telling them he was not comfortable being part of this act. He specifically pointed out the supposed violations of the Communications Act of 1934, a federal law created after the quiz show scandals of the 1950s that made it illegal for broadcasters to cheat in contests that require skill to trick viewers. In one shocking claim, Hester said that producers paid for cast member Brandy Passante to get breast enhancement surgery to make the show more appealing, and that valuable items that cast members seemed to sell were actually given back to producers after filming instead of being resold for profit, as the show suggested. Shortly after raising these concerns, Hester was fired from Storage Wars and excluded from Season 4. His wrongful termination lawsuit argued that he couldn't legally be fired for objecting to potentially illegal activities, positioning himself as a whistleblower rather than a disgruntled employee. A&E responded not by denying the specific allegations, but by arguing that Storage Wars was an expressive work entitled to full First Amendment protection, and that the Communications Act didn't apply to cable television. The network also suggested that Hester was simply angry about contract negotiations that hadn't gone his way, painting him as vindictive rather than principled. The legal battle dragged on for months, with both sides scoring partial victories and setbacks as judges ruled on various motions and counterclaims, legal victories, settlements, and a costly return. As Dave Hester's lawsuit wound through Los Angeles Superior Court in 2013, the case revealed how much money reality television could generate. Documents disclosed that Hester's Season 4 contract would have paid him $25,000 per episode for 26 guaranteed episodes, totaling $650,000. Combined with bonuses and allowances, his total compensation would have exceeded $800,000 for a single season. In March 2013, A&E won when a judge dismissed Hester's unfair business practice claim and ordered him to pay $122,692 in legal costs. The network's attorneys had spent over 350 hours defending against the allegations. This seemed to indicate total defeat. In September 2013, Judge Michael Johnson decided that Hester's claim of being wrongfully fired could go to trial. The judge said that Hester's lawsuit did not violate A&E's First Amendment rights. He pointed out that whether Hester's concerns about illegal activities were reasonable are questions that need to be answered in court, not dismissed right away. Faced with a public trial where cast members might testify under oath about behind-the-scenes practices, A&E settled in July 2014 for an undisclosed amount. The settlement allowed Hester to return to Storage Wars, and he made his comeback in Season 5's August 2014 premiere. While neither party admitted fault, A&E, bringing back their most controversial cast member, suggested the settlement cost them significantly. But even as Hester triumphantly returned, other legal troubles and personal conflicts continued to plague his public image. Trademark wars and a violent on-set altercation. Dave Hester's signature catchphrase, "You up," had become so recognizable by 2012 that he trademarked it 3 separate times, printing it on merchandise, including t-shirts, hats, and his trucks. But in April 2012, R&B singer Trey Songz filed a lawsuit claiming he had been using "Yoop" since 2009, predating Hester's trademark registrations. The two engaged in a bitter legal dispute over merchandising rights, demonstrating how seriously Hester took his personal brand. In 2015, Hester showed his aggressive side even more when he got into a fight with auctioneer Dan Dotson while filming. Reports say Hester felt left out and ignored during an auction, which led to a heated argument that turned into a fist fight. Witnesses said Hester might have even hit Laura Dotson, Dan's wife and co-auctioneer. This outburst showed that Hester's confrontational style wasn't just about arguing with words, it could also become physically dangerous. Despite this shocking incident, Hester continued appearing on Storage Wars through 2017 and the conclusion of Season 12, suggesting that production valued the drama he generated more than safety concerns, or that some resolution had been reached behind the scenes. While Hester seemed unstoppable in his business ventures and television career, a silent health crisis was developing that would soon bring him to the edge of death. The stroke that almost ended everything. In November 2018, Dave Hester woke up in the middle of the night feeling severely ill and struggling to breathe. His girlfriend rushed him to the hospital in Newport Beach, California, where doctors quickly determined he was suffering a hemorrhagic stroke, a dangerous type caused by bleeding in the brain. Medical staff worked urgently to stabilize his condition, as Hester, then 54, faced one of the most terrifying moments of his life. Doctors performed extensive testing to determine the cause. The results showed that Hester had undiagnosed sleep apnea, where breathing repeatedly stops during sleep. In his case, his breathing stopped more than 100 times per hour, severely depriving his body and brain of oxygen. Combined with high blood pressure, this chronic oxygen deprivation had triggered the hemorrhagic stroke. Hester spent several days in intensive care as doctors monitored his brain function and watched for permanent damage. He was then transferred to a live-in rehabilitation facility for a month, where he faced the humbling reality of relearning basic functions like walking and showering. The man who had built his reputation on aggressive bidding now struggled with simple daily tasks. In September 2019, when TMZ caught up with Hester, he admitted he still hadn't fully recovered. The experience had fundamentally changed his perspective on life and forced him to confront his own mortality. While he expressed optimism about continuing his auction business, he acknowledged the stroke had been a wake-up call about the importance of health. As Hester slowly rebuilt his physical strength and cognitive abilities, fans wondered if they would ever see the mogul return to competitive storage auctions. The long absence and questions about his future. Dave Hester's last regular appearance on Storage Wars came during Season 12, which concluded in January 2019. For the next several years, he remained absent while Seasons 13, 14, and 15 aired between 2021 and 2023, leading fans to assume his time on the series had permanently ended and that health issues had forced early retirement. During this absence, Hester focused on running Dave Hester Auctions, specializing in estate sales, business liquidations, and storage unit auctions. He maintained an active social media presence, posting pictures of himself at auctions and restaurants and with his wife, Donna, son, Dave Jr., and pet pugs, Pinky and Violet. These posts revealed a softer side, showing a family man who valued relationships and simple pleasures. Industry colleagues noted a change in his demeanor during this period. While he remained knowledgeable and professional, Many observed he seemed less confrontational than his Storage Wars character suggested. Client Randy Mistus praised Hester as positive, upbeat, and respected, noting, "He likes making money and he works hard. He knows his business." In 2023, Hester signed autographs for Storage Wars fans at the California Moving and Storage Convention, demonstrating he remained a recognizable figure despite his television absence. Yet even as he seemed content with his post-TV existence, forces were already in motion that would bring him back to the spotlight. While Hester rebuilt his life away from cameras, the Storage Wars production team was planning something that would shock both cast members and viewers alike. The shocking Season 16 comeback nobody expected. In June 2025, TMZ reported that Dave Hester would come back to Storage Wars for Season 16, his first time on the show in over 6 years. Fans were surprised, and the other cast members didn't expect it either. A&E shared a preview clip showing Hester at an auction, wearing a white hat to hide who he was. The big moment happened when Hester took off his white hat to show his "Yoop" boys cap and shouted his famous catchphrase loudly. Cast members Renee Najota, Ivy Calvin, and Brandy Passante turned around in shock, with one saying his voice was the most annoying sound in the world. Hester kept shouting until he won the auction, then jokingly said that their unfriendly welcome made him feel loved. This carefully orchestrated comeback represented brilliant reality television drama, reintroducing the show's most controversial villain after years of absence and immediately reigniting old rivalries. For Hester, the return represented a personal triumph over the health crisis that nearly ended his life. He had fought back from a devastating stroke and now stood ready to reclaim his position as Storage Wars' most formidable bidder. But as exciting as Hester's return appeared, his presence would force both viewers and cast members to confront difficult questions about what his allegations had revealed. The unresolved questions about reality TV manipulation. Dave Hester's 2012 lawsuit made extraordinarily specific allegations about how Storage Wars manufactured drama through planted items, staged units, and producer manipulation. While the case was settled without A&E formally confirming or denying these accusations, Hester's detailed insider knowledge made his claims difficult to dismiss. The fact that the network chose to settle rather than take the case to trial suggested there was at least some truth to his allegations. A&E's legal defense relied on First Amendment protections, arguing that Storage Wars was entertainment rather than a contest show subject to fraud regulations. They claimed the Communications Act of 1934 didn't apply to cable television and that the show involved no intellectual skill, triggering legal protections against rigging. This defense essentially admitted the show wasn't a genuine documentary, but rather scripted entertainment using storage auctions as a backdrop. Legal experts noted that Hester's wrongful termination claim succeeded where his fraud allegations failed because employment law provided clearer protections for whistleblowers. The settlement prevented any proof from emerging publicly, leaving viewers to draw their own conclusions about how much of Storage Wars was real versus manufactured entertainment. As Hester returned for Season 16, these questions remained hanging over every episode. When he discovered valuable items, viewers would wonder whether producers placed them there. His very presence served as a constant reminder of the allegations he had made. Yet despite these troubling questions about authenticity, Storage Wars continued attracting millions of viewers who remained fascinated by the treasure-hunting fantasy. The warnings we should have heeded all along. Looking back at Dave Hester's entire Storage Wars journey reveals a clear pattern of warnings that were given but largely ignored. Fellow cast members warned viewers from the beginning that Hester's cutthroat tactics went beyond normal business competition, but audiences dismissed these complaints as scripted drama. Industry veterans cautioned that his willingness to prioritize winning over relationships and ethics would eventually catch up with him. But the entertainment value of his confrontational style overshadowed these warnings. Hester himself tried to warn both producers and the public about fraudulent practices he observed behind the scenes. But A&E responded by firing him and spending hundreds of thousands on legal fees to silence his allegations rather than addressing his concerns. His detailed lawsuit laid out deceptive practices that called into question reality television's authenticity. But the settlement buried everything under non-disclosure agreements and First Amendment defenses. His body tried to warn him that his aggressive lifestyle and untreated medical conditions were creating a health crisis. But he ignored the signs until a hemorrhagic stroke nearly killed him. The warning came through chronic sleep apnea that stopped his breathing over 100 times per hour, depriving his brain of oxygen night after night. Only when he woke unable to breathe did he finally pay attention. Even now, as Hester returns for season 16, new warnings emerge. His cast members warned that his comeback would bring chaos, and their visible frustration suggests working with him remains genuinely difficult. Medical experts would warn that stroke survivors face elevated risks and need to manage stress. Yet he's returning to a high-pressure environment that rewards conflict. Perhaps the most important warning comes from Hester's story itself. The cautionary tale of a man who achieved fame by embracing a villain role so completely that it consumed his relationships, health, and reputation. He warned us about fraud behind reality television, but revealed he had been a willing participant for 3 seasons before speaking out. His lawsuit positioned him as a principled whistleblower, but his eagerness to return after settling suggested his objections were situational rather than fundamental. The warnings about Dave Hester were always there for those willing to listen. His castmates warned he would do anything to win. His lawsuit warned that reality television regularly deceives its audience. His stroke warned that success means nothing if you destroy your health. His settlement and return warned that financial interests trump principles in entertainment. And his season 16 comeback warns that we as viewers remain complicit in systems we know are problematic because we value entertainment over authenticity. Which of Dave Hester's controversies shocked you the most? Do you believe his allegations about storage wars being rigged? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.